All right, guys, so we've got 3 questions that were submitted so far, and then we actually have a few more questions that I think people had verbally asked me, but I don't actually have written down. So let's start with the 3 questions that we have submitted so far. And the rule is I want anybody else to answer except for me, because I want you guys to hear from them. So the first question is, how do you develop the skill of watching the racket? And it's got a second part. How do you watch the racket when the rally seems like it's going pretty fast and it's difficult to watch? That's the first question. Who would like to answer? Yes, Peck Pong himself.
Okay. So the ability to watch the racket, I think table tennis has a lot of moving parts, so it's kind of hard to be able to do it perfectly while doing everything else. So being able to develop like good fundamentals, make that part pretty strong, and then that'll take pressure off the focus on that part, and then you're able to focus more on like watching the racket. So maybe like kind of try to isolate it, and then eventually it'll kind of come together so that you're doing both simultaneously, like moving, good strokes, and then also watching your opponent's racket. So that's kind of, did that make sense?
It did make sense. And at what point do you think that you would teach somebody that, hey, you're at the developmental stage, that you should watch the racket more, as opposed to just working on your own stroke or your own footwork? At what point would you say that you should start working on it more?
You can start pretty much any time, as long as you make it like achievable. Yeah.
Good, good. Excellent. All right, second question is, my current rating is around 2,000, and I want to get to 2,300. What would be a couple of the main differences, in your opinion, between somebody that's 2,000 and somebody that's 2,300?
Training and sense and demeanor.
Oh, there we go. I paid him to say that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Good. Good. Now comes the advertisement for winter camp number 2. All right, Chance is cooking up something for us.
So a lot of players that are kind of in the 2,000 range, they have pretty solid fundamentals, but they're often missing like over the table games. So especially like short or flip and like serve receive. So if you're already feeling like pretty solid with your foundational skills and your movement and your strokes are good, but you struggle when you play stronger players, I would work a lot on your ability to read serves well and make good decisions on like when you're going to play short versus when you're going to push long versus when you're going to flip, those types of decisions, as well as building off of your serve and being able to look for your opportunity to build the points as you want to play them around your service game. So not just kind of going in with the idea that, well, I'm just going to play good rallies and do the best that I can, but really trying to structure the game in a way that is beneficial for your like strengths.
And the one thing that he mentioned there that's super important is having strengths. And knowing your strengths and building your game around those strengths. That's one thing that you're going to notice when you start seeing players 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 2600, is that they have more of a structure to their game and they have a plan. And this is really important as you're getting to the higher level, that you have strengths. And like Chan said, your serve and receive and everything else you do should be built around those strengths. So that's a really important point that Chance made. Third question, and then I'll open it up for your guys' questions. Ooh, this one we're going to be covering a lot in detail next week, but for now, we're going to do our best to answer it. How do you read the spin on serves, and how do you know which return you need to make on which serve? It's a lot. Can you keep it in under 4 hours? You can? All right, go for it.
My seminar. Welcome to the South Park seminar. Sorry, let's break it down.
So, how do you read spin on serves, and how do you know which return to make based on what type of serve is coming at you?
Okay, so as far as reading spin, I think a lot of it comes down to being able to look with your eyes and see like the contact, because that's kind of the best time to read the serve. And you can also see the movement of the ball a little bit, like if it's like really jumpy, it's topspin. If it's kind of floaty, it can be underspin. And also you can see the logo on the ball. If it's dead, you can see if it's spinning like a ton. And I mean, at lower level, they kind of show you with their racket angle what they're gonna serve, if it's under or if they're like pulling up on the ball. But when you get a little higher, they start changing it very quickly. So being able to pick out the moment they touch the ball is important. And then as far as
which returns to make for which serve?
it really depends on your playing style. If you're like, for example, a blocker, you probably want to make a lot of like heavy cuts, mixing up long, medium, long, short, and then being able to follow up with a good block. And then if you're an attacker, you probably want to try and attack the serve with a flip or keep it short so that your opponent makes like a weak return that you can maybe loop over the table.
Excellent, Seth. And as he mentioned, it depends on your playing style. It's not like every serve standard I have to receive in this way. It depends on your playing style. And that's one of the main themes for next week, is really understanding and defining our style so that throughout 2023, we can build our serves and receives and everything off of that style. If I really don't like it when Gary spins really heavy, but I keep pushing long against him at the next tournament, and he keeps giving me these heavy spins, I could be frustrated and say, man, it's so annoying. His spin is so heavy. Or maybe I should have learned how to push short so that I'm not giving him that opportunity every single time. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about in depth a lot next week. Tournament preparation camp is understanding your game and what you should be practicing to strengthen your strengths. All right, we've got time for a few more questions. Anybody got a good one for me? Yes. Is it appropriate? It is? Okay, good. Alex, go ahead. For Yuri? Okay.
Do you wish your feeling was as good as Chance's?
Oh. Okay. Ananya, do you have a question? Yeah?
So sometimes I play people like, while I'm trying to serve and think about my serve, they're like banging their paddle on the table, or right before I serve, they're like screaming their score. How do I deal with that?
All right. She's trying to get ready for a point, and they're banging their paddle on the table, or they're screaming the score, 9-9! And she can't focus.
Like, I'm getting ready to serve like this, and he's like,
All right. Anybody got a good one? Parth. This sounds like a good Parth question. What do you think? Yeah, you like kids. Come on. Come on. Give her a good answer. Come on, give her a fun answer. Come on, give her an answer.
There's multiple ways you can approach that. You can go to them, tell them to shut up, or you can be nice and tell them, hey, could you please not do that? And you know, if it ruins your own kind of rhythm, you can just tell them, please, can you like not do that? And just.
Excellent. Great answer. Anybody else have a good answer for her?
Okay, I also think that you should be focused on yourself, and I think it's also a good challenge that the opponent should not disturb you, and it's important, I think, to keep focus and go through it. And I think if you manage to handle this situation, then other situation will not be that difficult to manage. Just what I think.
Good. Excellent. Very good. Good answer. Yes. Go for it. Okay. So they give her a ball that has a lot of side spin and a little bit of underspin, and she wants to be able to attack it. How can she attack it? Chance has got a good one.
So assuming it's long, you would want to try to loop it. So because it's got a lot of side spin on it, you don't want to take it too early because the ball's going to move a lot. So you want to wait a little bit, let the ball move, you move with the ball, and then you're able to generate a lot of spin. If it's short, you could try to flip it. In that case, you'd want to let the ball come up all the way to the top of the bounce before you try to flip, or you could try to push it. But if you push the side spin, you want to make sure that you know which side spin it is so that you can go on the other side of the ball.
And by the way, we are doing a question and answer session next week as well. And if you forgot your question today, you can always ask one of us on break as well. We've got time for about 2 more questions. Then I'm going to let these guys have some closing comments if they have anything to mention. Yeah, go for it, Kyle.
They seem a little silly, but are you
That is not a silly question at all. That's a genius question. I like that question. Yes, and Jeff is going to do a fabulous job answering that question for you. His question was, does he watch the ball all the way until it makes contact with the racket or not?
Come on.
Usually, not many people they keep watching, like, because if you watch it, right, then you cannot see the opponent, right, you cannot see what's going on. So usually you just try to contact the ball like in front, right, and then then you can see also where the opponent's at, so then you can maybe, if it's waiting on the forehand, maybe, then you can go to the backhand, right. But if you keep like watching the ball like until the ball touches the paddle, right, then it's not that efficient. That's it.
Good answer, Jeff. All right, we've got time for one final question. Leslie's got something. Oh, Nandan's first. He beat you to it. What do you got, Nandan? How do you glue your paddles? You need help? Yeah, because someday your big brother Sid's not going to be there to glue it for you, so you're going to have to learn. Their preferences for how to glue your paddle. Where's Tim Detweiler when we need him? Oh, there's Tim. All right. Any of you want to answer? Okay, expert Tim Detweiler, come on up. Give him a round of applause. Come on. For all the work he does for us around the clock. That's what I'm talking about. Tim, tell that kid right there. Tell him how to glue his paddle. All right, he knows how to, but nobody else does, according to him. So don't answer him. Answer everybody else. Tell all of them how they need to glue their paddles.
No, he wants to know their preference.
Oh, you want to know if they have any like deep secrets on how they glue their paddle, not just like put glue and stick it together. Oh, okay, I gotcha.
This is largely personal preference. What Nandan is referring to is, do you want to use one layer of glue? Do you want to do 2 layers of glue? Do you feel that there's a difference if you do both sides together, or if you do one side and then wait and then do the other side? Do you use boost, etc., etc.? This is all personal preference. Everyone has like their own system that they've done, and whatever that is, you should stick with it because that's what you're used to. If you change, if you're used to doing 2 layers of glue and then you only do 1, or then you do 4 or whatever, it's going to change the playing characteristics of your racket without changing the equipment. So whatever you're used to doing, continue doing that because that's the way that you're used to playing. For those of you that are thinking about using, boost or whatever, I would just say that, like, I don't. I know a lot of high-level players do. I don't necessarily agree with it, but yeah, so it's all personal preference.
All right, before we get onto the table, I'd like to hear, if you guys are up for it, I'd like to hear any comments from you guys as far as general observations for what you've made during the camp, or general tips that you feel like would be applicable to the players that you have seen. So do you guys, any of you have any closing comments? Yes, Seth.
It's gonna sound mean.
It's okay. It's good. Sometimes, they need a
Yeah, just like don't practice bad habits. If you're not gonna move, don't move at all. Just like don't do halfway. I'd say go all in and move a lot, or don't move at all. Otherwise, you get practice doing bad moving.
All right. Anybody else? Scott, Parth, Yuri, Ethan. You got any closing comments for me? Okay. Jeff, any closing comments? Yes.
I know this camp might be like a little bit intense for some people here, but if you look at the good side, is like sometimes if like Seth was talking about like bad habits, right? If you have like bad habits that say, oh, my shoulder's hurting or something's hurting, right? Maybe that's a good thing for you to maybe, okay, so I might be using too much like shoulder, maybe I should focus more using like my body or like maybe more legs. So I know even though you're tired, now is the time that you have to prove yourself, okay, I'm tired, so now I'm gonna keep trying my best. So that now is actually the time that you actually like can improve your, not only your technique, but your mental part too. So we're halfway there, so just make sure you guys keep trying your best, and for sure you guys gonna learn as much as you can and improve as much as you can.
Good. Excellent. Yeah, I really have felt that you guys had a good perspective throughout the week. One thing that's really important is that no matter who you're up against, there's always ways that you can make progress. See, in life, you don't always have the most ideal situation. You don't always have the best coworker to work with, or you're not always in the best class with your favorite teacher, or you're not always in ideal scenario. But you have to look and see, like, how can I do my best in this situation? For your entire career, half the time you're going to be playing with somebody better than you, and half the time you're going to be playing with somebody worse than you. That's going to be the national average, world average. Half the time you're playing with somebody better, half the time you're playing with somebody worse. But if you tell yourself, I can only improve when I play with better players, and I can't improve here, you're right. With that mindset, you literally cannot improve with that mindset. But there's always things to improve on. Most of you here continue to need to work on your basic strokes. Is it easier to work on your basic strokes when you're playing with somebody higher or lower? Well, with the right mindset, you can work on your basic strokes with either. But I personally feel when I'm playing with somebody lower that I can try more things. I can implement more what the coach is teaching me because I don't have the pressure of playing with the other guy. Imagine if I was in a practice session with Mo Long right now. Okay, and I'm trying to fix my backhand. My backhand right now is doing this, but I'm trying to fix my backhand and do more of this. Is it easy for me to do that with Mo Long? No, because every time I miss, I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, Mo Long, I'm messing up the practice for you, right? It's easier for me to do it with somebody a little bit lower than me because I don't feel pressure from them, like I have to make every ball on the table because I'm playing with Mo Long, okay? So the same thing for you guys. Look at every single session, every single opponent as a way that you can make progress. And don't check yourself off mentally that, well, I'm not going to improve because I'm playing with this guy because he's 100 points under me. And I feel like for the most part, you guys have had a really good mindset, and I want you to continue that mindset. Okay? So this is it for the question and answer session, but every time we go over to the table or every time we're on break or whatever, if you've got a question, go ahead and ask me or ask one of the coaches. We're definitely happy to help you, and we want to be able to answer your questions throughout the week. All right, before we go out there, I just want everybody to make sure you have your racket, water bottle, and hopefully towel. And we're going to do 2 lines. So 23 people in this line, 23 people in that line. We're going to do some brief warm-up, do a quick explanation, and then we'll get on the table and start. Okay, head over there, and we're going to start.